Welcome to Mill Pond Flower Farm. This is
Paula Baxter and
Ray Baxter.
we farm on a 4-acre site in the Scottish borders.
And you're missing an important little character.
Flo, this is Flo. Our land faces south. We're most of the way up a hill facing into England. That's the Cheviot Hills you can see in front of you. We're on slightly sloping land, south facing. Plants need light to grow, and where they're situated really determines how well they grow. South is that way, that's towards Cheviot. The majority of the flower field is open so that it gets full sun all day, but there are times when you need to give plants a little bit of shade, and there are some that grow better in a more muted condition, so we plant with that in mind. So the annuals tend to be out here, annuals, dahlias, things like that, sweet peas, sunflowers, dill, all of those need full sun, so they're all out here unimpeded, with unimpeded light. Behind me over here there are plants that can manage in different conditions. So we've got a screen of eucalyptus which gives a bit of shade for some of the plants that are behind there that do better with a little bit of shade and grow really well. Some of the shrubs can cope with shade, and there are a number of plants that we like to grow, things like astilbe, that prefer a part shaded condition. So a lot of those are over in that direction, and we plant so that things grow well, because when they grow well they're healthy, they produce beautiful flowers and foliage, and they sell themselves really. We do grow some plants in polytunnels, mainly for the protection that they offer and the fact that it allows us to extend our season with having earlier flowers. One of the things about polytunnels is that you do sacrifice a bit of light for the warmth and protection that they offer. So one of the key things about having covered space and using polytunnels and greenhouses is keeping them clean. This one's quite tall, so it is quite difficult to keep clean, but as soon as you get any sort of green mould or any dirt on, it reduces the light level and then reduces the capacity of the plants to produce new growth. So it's quite important to keep them clean.
At Mill Pond Flower Farm we grow on the banks of an old mill pond, which you can see here, which is about an acre in size, which was built in the 1830s as an energy source for a granary, which you may be able to see in the distance. Understanding the properties of your soil is a really important consideration for growing just about anything really. Mill Pond Flower Farm, we've got an interesting soil. To show you the natural soil type here, what I've done is I've got some soil that I just dug up from the garden, put it into an old onion jar, given it a shake, and waited for 24 hours to let that settle. 24 hours later, if you look carefully, you can see there's an awful lot of sand, there's a little bit of silt, and there's a little bit of clay. Understanding the structure of your soil is really important to understand how the soil can hold on to nutrients and how it can hold on to moisture. The interesting thing about Mill Pond Flower Farm is that the flower farm that you can see in the distance over there, the soil in the farm, much of it is made from what used to exist.
It's gone off.
Used to exist in the pond. Thankfully we can improve most soils by adding biomass, and we need to do that at Mill Pond Flower Farm. We do that by adding seaweed, by adding weed that we've taken from the pond, and by adding lots of well-rotted manure, and those things work to improve the quality of the soil so we can grow better flowers.
We talked about light, and we also talked about soil. The other element that plants need to grow really well is moisture. As you've seen already, we've got a huge pond, so you would think we've got loads of water, and we have, but getting water from where it's stored in the pond to the plants is a different matter altogether. What we tend to do here We're on the east coast of Scotland. It's not the wettest, but it's also not the driest. We have decent soil. When things are planted out, they tend to get watered once and then that's it. So if they're outside, we rely on the rain, and we have enough. We're very fortunate. Sometimes we have too much. So we rely on the rain to keep things watered. Things like sweet peas need quite a lot of moisture, and the way that we manage making sure they have enough moisture is to really improve the soil, so that the soil retains the moisture and keeps them well hydrated. The place where we need to water generally are the polytunnels. The key messages about getting plants to grow well and to provide beautiful flowers, such as these lovely roses, is to grow what grows well where you are. I can't say that enough, really. If you have a great site with all the ideal elements in all the right proportions, you can grow most things, but most of us don't have that. We have limitations about where we are and the soil we have and the time we have. So what you need to do is decide and find out what grows well where you are and grow that. You need to find out what each plant needs in terms of soil type, in terms of feed, water and sunlight, and you need to give each plant that. You can't plant every variety in one patch of ground and expect them all to do well. They have different requirements. So grow what grows well, find out what they need and give them it. Working within the limitations of your site, one of the things that you can do to increase the range of plants that you can grow is to create microclimates, and that's what we do here. We build shelter belts, so we put in hedges, we put in trees to provide shelter and a buffer from the winds that we do get. We get quite strong winds here, we are on a hill. So shelter belt, and we also provide protection and cover for the plants like the polytunnel. And there's some of the ways that we provide a microclimate to give us a bit bigger range in the sorts of things that we can grow, and to protect tender things such as roses, ranunculus, and flowers that can be easily damaged by rain. So yeah, microclimates, look at your site, decide what you can grow there, and then see if you can stretch it a little bit by providing some microclimates. So thank you for listening. We hope this has proved to be useful to you. Goodbye from the borders, and if you're in the area, come and buy some flowers from us.